Well, yes, Seven Colors time. Melody Miya is a well-experienced public speaker, master of ceremonies, having hosted multiple events locally and globally. He's a man who's passionate about young people, their education, as well as sports.
Melody Miya, thank you so much for joining us in studio. Now, soulful plate, talking about everything that you do, etc. You know, there's something that was missing in that intro, man.
What?
This guy's on my chaivan.
What does that mean?
Party starter.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow.
Like,
Wow, Jacob,
oh.
really?
give me, am I like?
It's your energy. It's
No,
energy.
but you got to put it right.
Okay,
I have a
there we go.
PhD in danceology.
There we go.
It's
see?
danceology. It's a feeling. It's
Oh my
it's a whole
gosh.
thing.
You see, there's a vibe. So I'm not lying.
No,
So
but
can you show us that a little later
Well,
on?
let's talk about some serious stuff. Then we can, dabble into that.
If we have time, we can dabble into that. But how did you get into this? MCing, motivational speaking, being a hype man, getting into the media space as well?
Yeah.
I think, to be very honest, firstly, thank you very much for having me. For me, it was more about, sometimes when you're running away from something and you run into something. So I was running away from depression. I was running away from this lack of identity of where am I going, who's Melody. And sometimes we base our future desires on our past, and eliminating that sometimes our future is just created by the now. And if right now I feel like I want to go bigger, that's when I start recreating what I want to become. And when I realized that I have a voice, always used to be that friend that would send you voice notes at 4 a.m. You must wake up and do something in your life. And it never meant anything to me at the time, not knowing that I actually was preaching life into someone else. And I found myself getting to radio 2011, as now I'm part of 947, and found myself speaking. And I just realized that this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I actually left corporate to do what I do, not knowing that it'll be a fruitful journey.
So you've come into studio today you've chosen the color yellow.
Correct.
So, what is the value that you've attached to the color yellow? What do you have to impart to us?
So, a long story short, we're in a season where a lot of people are depressed. We live in a season where everyone wants instant gratification. I want to be hot now, I want to be beautiful now, I want to have money now. And through the journey that I went through, which is something I tweeted about recently, which was my suicide experience in 2011, as I tried to commit suicide because I felt like I wasn't worthy, I felt like I wasn't good enough, I felt like all these feelings. And with all those feelings, I realized that joy is self-inflicted. Joy is a decision. And in a moment whereby everything is falling apart, joy is an attitude. If I choose that I want to get out of this, I start looking at things that grow my heart and not the things that kill my heart. You'd notice a lot of people get depressed from seeing other people succeeding. People get depressed from actually seeing things, but they don't change the things they're seeing. They don't increase the positive versus the negative in society. I mean, we all know that one friend that really is amazing but is not succeeding. But sometimes that one friend needs a push in the right view. And not in the view that, yes, I graduate, but I don't have a job. But maybe I need to start looking for the positive in this little darkness that I have around me. And I've always said to myself, whenever I'm in a space, I want to be the light in the darkest room. Because in that motion, people are not blinded by your light, but they're encouraged that there is positivity on the other side.
Oh, wow. I like that light reference. So what's your motivation for getting up in the morning? I mean, especially coming from a place of what it feels like to be down and depressed, etc. What's your get up and go? What's your motivation every morning?
Literally, I'm going to be honest. I always say to myself is that every time I wake up, there's an opportunity to be bigger than what I was yesterday, to be greater than I was yesterday. The question is for me, I'm always enticed. The thought of how great can I actually be? How phenomenal can I do that watch was 360 there? Like, the possibilities of life for me are always the things that wake me up to say, dude, are you going to be great or are you going to be great today? And that for me is what I want life to be. And that's how I get out of bed in the morning.
Oh, wow. Hype man.
I can imagine the vibe. I'm still wanting to see him dance. Literally,
you should see his videos. Listen, when I met you, I had no idea that you were such a dancer and a hype man and whatever. And I was captured by a really cool video that you did probably at Orlando Stadium.
Yes.
And
it has about 14 million views now.
There we go. Yeah. You had thousands of people literally eating out of the palm of your hand. Like, when did that part happen? That part of you happen? And how do you always keep that alive? I mean, are you not intimidated by such big crowds?
How are you inspired?
So spiritually, I really believe in God, and God has helped me to get where I am, and that's where I always draw strength from personally. You know, I feel like my spiritual life with Jesus Christ has just been so amazing that it's drawn me in. But to also get to that element where I want to be able to walk into an 80,000 stadium, which is for the Orlando Derby. I'm walking as this young man, first time standing in a crowd like this. It's just come alive. It's so natural. It's like, let's go.
There's a switch.
And the dancing element was probably decoration, you know? You know, you sometimes you set up your dinner, but you put the detail. And for me, my dancing element is probably like a decoration around the core of the liveliness that probably was placed in me, which is life is meant to be lived. Let's live.
I'm just looking at the season we're in. So spring has sprung.
Yep.
Today is Rosh Hashanah. It's a new year for our Jewish viewers. I mean, there's so much happening on that front. What tips do you have for people going forward for this new week, this new juncture in their lives, as well as we head into
season,
summer?
Yeah.
I probably would just want to say to anyone and everyone, including myself, is that stop looking at yourself at the way people look at you. Start looking at yourself at the way you wish your kids are going to look at you. You know, and for me, what that means is that I look at my dad and I say, my dad is an inspiration, right? And when you look at yourself, you need to be saying that to yourself in a way that it encourages you to say, you can, you will, and you should. You deserve it. It's quite simple.
How do we get in touch with you, Melody, if you're not driving around in cool cars around
Or dancing,
Joburg,
clearly.
or dancing, or being on the radio? How do we get in touch with you if we want to book you for a gig or any of that?
So it's quite simple. You can just follow me on social media, which is Melody Miya Vibe. And people really ask me, dude, is your name Melody? Yes, it is, and I am a guy. And just go onto social media, Instagram, it's quite simple. All of them are the same. And if not that, catch me on radio over the weekends between midnight and 4 a.m.
It's funny because you speak and it's very melodic. So I think whoever named you kind of
My
saw
dad.
he saw the future.
Melody
Thank
Miya
you.
Vibe on the socials.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. If there's anything else you want to say, because I feel like there's so much you could inspire and say. Maybe this is the last place you can say it or last time you want to say it before we let you go.
I'll probably say forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for the little things that you know you could have done better and learn from them. Sometimes we are our worst enemy because we're still holding on to the mistake we did to ourselves and those around us. Joy comes when you know you're at ease and you're at peace with what you've lost and what you're still yet to gain.
With that all said, you know what the director's saying in our ears? Maybe we can give this guy more time after the break. So we're gonna take a quick ad break. We shall be back with Melody because he's gonna give us some more inspiration on 7 colors. So time for a quick ad break. We'll be back right after this. And we're back. It's Weekend Dawn right here on Channel 405. My name is Jacob Mashuka. This is Liesl Wilson. We're not alone. We're actually hanging out with Melody Miya.
Yes, but I mean, before we continue the chat with him, we are going to release the poll results that we've been asking you throughout the entire show today. So we were looking at the 4th Industrial Revolution and obviously the banking sector, digitization. The question we asked you this morning is, what is your view of banks digitizing their services?
So the first answer was it has to happen, A. B, it's unfair, or C, keep up with the developments. And the results are out. It has to happen, A, is 35%. It's unfair, is that 16%? And then keep up with developments. That's the last one, 49%. Hey, what did I say?
Option A and C are very similar.
Yeah, they are very similar. And again, if you combine them, boom.
And then create an option D. And then we were told, please don't do that. So,
No, we're not creating more options.
The thing is with the 4th Industrial Revolution, I guess, is that the only constant is change, right?
Yeah, that's so
So
true.
if you're not gonna, if you're gonna fight the system, you're actually just gonna fall behind and suffer. So go with the flow. Let's see what happens. The future's bright, I think.
There we go. There we go. We're hanging out with Melody Miya, inspirational speaker, radio host, MC, hype man. There was a nice term you said about the dancing. What did you say?
A PhD in danceology.
A PhD in danceology. You got something that a lot of people don't have out there.
He could be on Ellen. What's that guy who works with Ellen? There's the...
Oh, yeah.
what's his name?
Oh, and listen, talking
the
about
hip-hop
that.
guy. Twitch.
TV, radio. What are you doing next? What are you going to be doing next? What are you aiming for?
So my wish is that I can be a part of, so I have this concept of a show where we actually deal with young people and speak to young people. I feel like so many young people want to express themselves, and we're all going through so many things that are similar, but we're not talking about it. And I mean, of course, in the new age, for me, my desire is probably now to actually sit and create more TV aspect, as I have probably been on TV for quite some time now previously. But now it's really, I want to create content that will help heal people. Thing is, there's so much, you know, entertainment TV.
Yeah.
But let's go back to that Zola 7 season of life, you know, where people were like, listen, that changed my life. And that's what I want to do next.
That's art. So art heals, entertainment distracts.
On with it.
Oh,
What books are you reading?
So I'm reading a book at the moment, such a beautiful book. It's called Chase the Lion. I got it from my friend Tepang, and it speaks about you not fearing your dream. So your dream must start fearing you, because it knows you're coming. See, sometimes we sit and we wait for us to get our dream, you know, to encounter it. But I realized that, you know, when you're chasing your dream and your dream starts saying, no, man, this guy is close. He's about to buy me. He's about to buy that car. He's about to buy the new house. I always say when I go to an MC events, social festivals, I say this: I want to greet those who are about to buy a new car, to about to buy a new house, those who are about to buy, because that thing, when you hear it, it speaks to you. And that book just keeps encouraging me to say, you need to chase the lion. How ridiculous and crazy it is to hear someone saying, I'm going to chase the lion.
Yeah.
Whatever you're dreaming about, if you think this is it, then clearly you're being chased by a lion, you're not chasing a lion.
oh, there we go.
The lion's the king of the jungle. So,
Definitely a king of the jungle. And you were saying earlier the importance of forgiving yourself.
Correct.
People are too hard on themselves out there, man.
Look, not even, it starts at home. You never saw your mom forgive your dad for that one thing he did. You never saw your sister forgive you maybe for that one conversation that always sat there. And the forgiveness element starts in a community, which is your house. From your house into your street into your community. So many of us are walking around carrying chairs, which is the lack of forgiveness, which is I'm still angry at Mang. And because we don't have a platform to have these conversations at home, we also struggle to move on. And I always say to myself, I need to forgive Melody first before I can expect to forgive Jacob.
Yeah.
Because if I don't forgive Melody, you know when people